So Cosmos is a top 20 crypto token that's frequently mentioned by the biggest influencers and smartest minds in the crypto space. And strangely enough, it seems to be one of the only coins that has defied the bear market. But what exactly is it? What does Cosmos do? And what sort of price potential does its native token Atom have? Well, I went through their white papers, their roadmap, their founder interviews, and their tokenomics structure to find out if the Cosmos ecosystem is worth your time, energy, and money. And all I ask in return is you hit that like button down below for me, put on your adventurous hat, and let's jump in together. So the Cosmos developers are Zarko Milicevic, Ethan Bookman, and Jay Kwon. Not to be mistaken with Jay Sean, because they're not the same people. And this team actually started working on the Cosmos project way back in 2014, where they developed the Tendermint consensus protocol, which we'll get to in a minute. In 2016, they published the first version of the Cosmos white paper, but not until March of 2019 did the Cosmos network actually come online. Their mission: to become the universal layer 0 blockchain, or in their words, the internet of blockchain. But what exactly does that mean? Well, that's a great question. And understanding this is critical to understanding exactly what value Cosmos provide in the Web3 world. So if you time travel for a second with me back to the early computing days, computers were standalone computational machines scattered across the world. They were very powerful in solving many problems, but each individual computer was standalone and needed to be individually programmed and run. Then the internet was developed. And this was the first time that computers could actually talk to one another. And instead of operating in standalone computation, they could now share information and computational power to get results that are exponentially bigger than just the sum of their parts. And if you're not aware, blockchains are essentially computational machines. Of course, they also have a layer of consensus that allows us to trust each other. And when these two factors together, it basically makes a blockchain, which is a decentralized computational computer. Now, just like back in the 70s before the internet, these blockchains are currently running basically in isolation to one another. For example, the Bitcoin blockchain does not share the same consensus, token, or transactional history as the Ethereum one. But now projects like Cosmos plan to seamlessly connect these individual blockchains together, just like the internet did to computers. This will allow these blockchains to effortlessly communicate and share computational power. And if you're wondering why it's called layer 0, because the consensus layer such as Bitcoin and Ethereum blockchains are known as layer 1s, and cryptos like Cosmos operate below that layer in the networking layer known as layer 0. So Cosmos have pretty big goals, but can they actually pull it off? Well, maybe. Let's take a look at their technology stack. So the first feature in the Cosmos technology stack is their Tendermint core, the one that they were developing way back in 2014. The Tendermint core was born in 2014 to address the speed, scalability, and environmental issues of Bitcoin's proof-of-work consensus algorithm. By using and improving upon the Byzantine fault tolerance algorithms developed at MIT in 1988, the Tendermint team was the first to conceptually demonstrate a proof-of-stake cryptocurrency that addresses the problems suffered by NXT and BitShares 1.0. Put simply, proof of work was way too slow. And due to the forking nature of the actual blockchain, you are still open to forking double spending attack. Now the Tendermint protocol doesn't fork, so it's known to be more secure, and it's also faster, processing up to 10,000 transactions per second. The Tendermint technology also radically simplifies blockchains to entice more developers to build on them, as typically building on a blockchain normally takes 3 layers: the networking, the consensus, and the application layer. Well, Tendermint conveniently combine the networking and consensus layers together with a generic engine, leaving developers to do what they do best: develop apps. The second element of the Cosmos tech stack is also aimed at developers. They want to entice as many people as possible to bring value into the Cosmos ecosystem. So they created the Cosmos SDK, which stands for Software Developer Kit, and is currently the world's most used framework for building blockchains. And typically, when developers have to build dApps, they have to build them from scratch, from the ground up, line by line, which of course is very time consuming and doesn't incentivize building. But just like how WordPress has pre-built themes, apps, and templates that you can import when you build a website, the Cosmos Developer Kit has these modular templates that you can import and compose your blockchain application with a mix of pre-built modules and your own custom modules. So if you think about how TikTok empowered almost anybody on earth to make an enticing video, or how Shopify made it really easy for almost anybody on earth to have an e-com store, Cosmos are trying to make it as easy as possible for almost any developer out there to develop apps into its ecosystem. Now, the third element of this Cosmos tech stack is by far the most important. It's the one we briefly touched touched on earlier, the Interblockchain Communication Protocol, or IBC, an innovation equivalent to the Internet of Blockchains, where independent blockchains will plug into a hub in order to seamlessly communicate and interoperate. Another way to understand this IBC is to think about it in Web 2 language. In Web 2, you have a wide range of platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Gmail, and YouTube, and it was extremely hard to have any communication, automation, or computing between these individual silos until Zapier came along. Zapier allowed you to automate complex sequences across these individual platforms. For example, I could set up a complete automation on Zapier to watch Alex Becker's Twitter to see when he tweets. I could then have this same automation pull that tweet into a Google Drive sheet, search it for any crypto term, and if crypto terms exist, I can have it message me on my phone, message me on Facebook Messenger, and send me an email all in one automation. You can imagine Cosmos are trying to have this communication in a Web3 setting. So whether that be creating a decentralized and distributed exchange across all protocols, live bridges between ledgers, or taking on transactional load for these slower protocols like Ethereum to help it scale. If you are enjoying this video, I want to recommend joining us on Patreon, where we have more in-depth breakdowns, rising crypto cheat sheets, and influencer wallet trackers, so you can actually track the wallets of people like Alex Becker or Gary Vee, so you know when they invest in a new protocol. If that sounds interesting to you when you want to take your Web3 game to the next level, I'll leave the link in the description below. For everybody else, keep enjoying the free stuff. Now, recently Cosmos have actually updated their white paper, and they have a massive expansion plan for their protocol. I wanted to go through some of the amazing features in this update. Firstly, Cosmos want to introduce liquid staking. This would free up tokens and assets from being confined on the Cosmos chain in a staking pool. They could then be used to accrue rewards, process transactions, and expand the utility of the Atom token. So this basically means you're going to get a second utility token that will represent the value of Atom that you have staked and increase the liquidity in the ecosystem. Cosmos are also introducing a social coordination technology, which will allow a DAO presence on the Cosmos Hub and open the funding control of the open source software to a wider group of stakeholders. And the third feature, and my favorite feature that I saw coming, was Cosmos are actually introducing a flywheel effect between two new features in the ecosystem, an interchain scheduler and an interchain allocator. And put as simply as possible, the interchain scheduler will help maximum extracted value opportunities be kept in-house in the Cosmos ecosystem, actually yielding a profit. This profit will then be allocated to grow and align Atom-based markets and dApps to once again grow this ecosystem, which will allow more MEV opportunities and therefore more profit, and therefore more growth and alignment opportunities, which is just a flywheel that's going to go round and round and make things bigger and better. Now let's get into the juicy part, the tokenomics. So Cosmos's native token is called Atom. The value of Atom at the time of this recording is $13.87. Atom has a circulating market cap of $3.9 billion and is no limit to its fully diluted market cap, as it's by design what they call an elastic supply token, which is a nice way to say infinitely inflationary. The all-time high of Atom was $44.52 in late 2021 with a market cap of over $11 billion. Now Cosmos actually raised $17 million in its token ICO. This happened in April 2017 at a price of just 10 cents per token. The token now has just under 140x return for their initial investors, and the original token distribution had 5% go to initial donors, 10% to the Interchain Foundation, 10% to their Tendermint company, and the remaining 75% go to private and public investors. Now, if you don't know where token unlocks or token inflation actually happen, you can find yourself in a lot of trouble. And Atom, by design, as I said, is inflationary. Its token increases its supply between 7 and 20% every single year. And over the last month, the supply has increased by about 13%. But if you do stake your Atom, you can see an APY of almost 20% per year, therefore offsetting this inflation. The rumor is they've done this to incentivize people actually locking up their tokens and punishing those who don't. Now, you do have to be careful in crypto, because just because there's an amazing project, it doesn't mean the value is going to be accrued into their token. So what is Atom actually used for? Well, Atom is used for transactions, staking, and governance. And all cross-chain transactions will be realized through the Atom token. Okay, let's get onto some of our concerns. Now, of course, the first concern is all that crazy inflation that I just talked about. Because with up to 20% inflation per year sounds like a crazy amount for any protocol to have. It just feels like you're just swimming upstream. Now, of course, for now, you can stake it and earn that 20% back in your actual yield. And I guess we're just gonna see how that plays out in the long term. Another concern is always competitors. And Cosmos does have a few competitors out there, such as Polkadot, Constellation, and a few other layer zeros recently popping up with big ambition. And my last concern is Cosmos is super fast and super secure, but if you're familiar with the blockchain trilemma, that's gonna leave it open to being not so decentralized. And Cosmos only currently have 175 validators running and securing the entire ecosystem. Now, this could be expanded with a governance proposal in the future, but right now it's a pretty centralized ecosystem. So what are my personal thoughts? Well, to be honest, I have a friend who's way smarter than me and knows way more than me, who's a massive fan of Cosmos and is really driving my interest into the protocol. The actual challenge that Cosmos is tackling out there is massive, and the potential economic rewards for solving these problems are going to be massive as well. But we don't know if that value of solving these big problems are going to translate into the actual Atom token. One, because it's infinitely inflationary, and two, because it already has a $4 billion market cap, and these rewards may already be baked in. And because it's got a $4 billion market cap, of course, this is not going to be one of those crazy 100x return tokens, but I do see in the next bull market this being a legitimate token that should outperform most of the top tokens. I will personally be buying more Atom after making this video, and if you decide to do the same, make sure you stake them.